while the pirates are trying to destroy the ship, and you have like one little cultist going around who's trying to offer up the ship to the Kraken, his lord. And so Hey, I'm Devin.
And I'm Mary Kate.
And we're picking up pieces.
A channel all about board game pieces.
And how to pick them up. And in today's video, we're going to be giving you my top 5 Grail games. So we're going to go from my least excited to most excited. Least exciting being 5, most exciting being 1.
So, what do you mean by a Grail game?
So, I think a Grail game, I think a lot of times whenever people think Grail games, they have to think of something you want and something that's hard to get. And that's not necessarily the case, even though a lot of times there's an overlap with that. I just think a Grail game ultimately is whatever games you want currently in this moment the most. And so, again, I think a lot of times that are, because there's some games on the list that are like almost impossible to get for me right now in my top 5 that I really want. And so that's what a Grail game is. And this is going to be the first part of 2-part video where May Kate is going to actually give you her top 5 list of the Grail games she wants the most.
In a separate video.
But I don't know when that video is going to release. I'm not saying it's going to be next week. It might be a year from now, but it's coming. So let's get in it. And so my number 5 is Raw, which I actually mentioned in a previous video. I didn't realize how much I wanted this game until I was able to play Raw with a friend of ours. Yeah. And he had it because he just backed the new edition. It was so much fun. So I think the only really experience I had with the auction game previous to that was Nidavellir. Say it for me.
Nidavellir.
I cannot pronounce that game to save my life. I can't do it. And so, I think that game was fun. It didn't bring as much enjoyment as Raw. And so I think I nailed it down that Raw is simpler than Nid. I always just going to call it Nid. It's simpler than that game. And does simple mean more better? Sometimes it does. The simplicity of Raw, but at the same time, the strategy that comes along with the set collection that you're trying to do and getting things at the right time with the auction mechanism, it leads to more table talk. Where Nid, you have to constantly be strategizing, what am I going to get most right now? And there's always a set market where it's always 3 things that you're bidding on, or 9 things total, but in 3 different categories. That is grouped by 3. And so that's always the case where Raw, the market can grow to something humongous, or it can be smaller. And so you have the ability to actually set the market or to auction off by throwing down that humongous Raw token. Yeah. And so it's a lot of fun. It leads to a ton of laughs. And so I definitely prefer Raw. And I was like, oh, okay, auction can be really fun with a bigger group of people. I think it plays up to 5. So it's not like a massive group. And I have a couple of actually like massive group games on this, which is not custom to me, May Kate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, normally we just play games 2 players.
Yeah.
So like big group games are something that we don't have a lot of like opportunities to play or a lot of experience playing, because we haven't I personally haven't really played any large group games since like being in college.
And same, but like we have started to play some, like we just got Captain Sonar, and we played that with 6 people, and that was a blast. I bet that'd be a blast with 8 people. And so I think we're trying to get more bigger group people, and a lot of like ones that I think would be also accessible, but at the same time itching that itch for board gamers. Anyway, that's going on. I'll talk about that later whenever they pop up.
Tangent.
Yeah, so Raw, really fun. I'm gonna get it. Once it hits, I think it's gonna hit the retail either at the end of this month or at sometime next month. So it's going to be coming real soon. The only reason why I don't have it is just because it hasn't hit retail yet. And if you missed the Kickstarter exclusive, like you're not missing a lot. It just upgrades some of the components, and I don't think it's such an upgrade where like the base game itself is already really beautiful. So definitely, I would recommend get that base game and actually try it out for you guys, for your own self. And if you don't like it, give it to me. Thank you. So that's Raw. And then at number 4 is Planet Unknown.
Ooh, I didn't expect this to be on your list.
I mean, I definitely put it on my list because I'm actively looking for it. I remember a couple weeks ago, or maybe it's been a month ago now, I'm on a Reddit that's all about board game deals, and someone posted that Miniature Market had actually a couple copies of Planet Unknown, and I saw it like 30 minutes or an hour after he posted it.
Oh, sad time.
And it was gone. Like so that game is really hot, and because it's out of print now. I mean, they just did a Kickstarter. I think it's a small company, and I think it was the first game this guy published, and it hit on all cylinders. So it's a polyomino game. Kate loves polyomino games. It's a game that we'll play a lot of. I like polyomino games. I think currently we just got Isle Cats not too long ago, and I really enjoy that drafting. The closed drafting mechanism where you passing the cards around and getting the cards in order to know what you need to do on your island. But in this game, instead of having this like drafting, you actually have this lazy Susan where it has all the different polyomino shapes on it, and you spin it around, and then you get the polyomino shape and put it in your little play area. But whenever you actually get the piece, the person who's sitting across from you gets the opposite piece. So it's constantly like, it's not just you doing something on your turn. It's very interactive where somebody else is going to be doing something on your turn as well. And it's going to be the same. So it's going to be constantly playing. And I know the map kind of changes as you put things down, as you add meteors and stuff like that to your map. And so it looks really fun. I think me and Kate will love that game, but it's impossible to get right now. I'm hoping there'll be another Kickstarter. Not dropping that news because I have no idea if there's going to be another Kickstarter for it. I'm sure, I mean, how popular it is, I'm sure it'll get another print run at some point. It just might
be a year or two.
Yeah. So if you have a Planet Unknown, you don't want that, also give me that. So that's Raw in Planet Unknown. So number 4, Planet Unknown, which actually might be like, is it the heaviest game on my list? And no, it's probably not the heaviest, but it's like tied for the heaviest. I don't have a lot of heavy games on my list currently.
Interesting.
I do like heavy games. Like one of my favorite games of all time, Food Chain Magnate, considered super heavy. But I think right now I'm just wanting a little bit something different that we don't have currently, and these are a lot of games we don't have right now in our collection. Let me see, number 3. Yep, number 3, Feed the Kraken. So. I don't even know if you know what this game is.
I don't know if I know what I might.
I've definitely talked to you before about it in the past. I just don't know if you...
Okay, well, keep talking about it and I'll see if I remember it.
So, this is the first of 2 social deduction games I actually want in my collection. We don't have any social deduction games at all. And I'm starting to whenever I got into the board game hobby, I'm like, okay, I really like board games. I like there being a board in front of me and me playing something down strategically and me thinking about it. Became a little bit of a snob, a little bit of a jerk. and
Mr. So, over here last video saying Kanban EV is not that hard.
No, that's not what I was saying. And anyway, so I've become more I'm like, I just really like table talk, and I really just like the interactions that board games gives. That's really the best thing that brings about board games. And social deduction games or bigger party games can definitely do that. And especially them that have a purpose. So it's not just like willy-nilly throwing it out there. And I think that's what I didn't like before about some social deduction games. It was like, you're just going off basis. You don't really have much to work on. There's not much mechanism. But Feed the Kraken is actually like a social deduction game and a board game combined together. And so you have this board in front of you where you are a crew on this ship where it consists of 3 different factions. You are either a pirate, I think crew members, or a cultist.
I remember this game.
So pretty much what the objective is for the good guys, the crew members, they're trying to get it to the shore while the pirates are trying to destroy the ship, and you have like one little cultist going around who's trying to offer up the ship to the Kraken, its lord. And so you everyone's on the hit, and I think you have cards, and you're trying to figure out, you have to change the captain ever so often, and you're trying to make sure not to give it to the cultists in order to kill everybody. And so and then at the same time you don't want to give it to the pirates, and so you're trying to deduce who is what, and killing off people while you're trying to actively get your ship off to the mainland. And so this game is extremely hard to get now as well, just like Planet Unknown. And so I think there's a couple ways to get it, and I want to get it, but we don't have much opportunities. And there's actually a social deduction game that's higher right now that me and Kate are going to get. and we actually did buy. But I made this list before we bought it, and it's on its way to us. And so
we still want it and don't have it yet.
Yeah, so gonna get that. I want Feed the Kraken really bad. I think that would be a really fun game, and it'd be something nice to play. But you have to play that with at least 8 to 10 people. So
yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, same with the other game that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. So number 2, which has been my Grail game for the longest time, has been Crocodile. The only reason why we don't have it is because it costs an arm and a leg to get it. Like, you're going to spend probably at least $300 to $400 on a board. Especially me, I want the best. So I want Tracy boards, which is like they make the Crocodile boards for the championships. I just want that.
Devin's like, if I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get the best one possible.
The best thing possible, and it seems really fun. So I mean, in simplicity is really nice. Where you're just a dexterity game, flicking a disc into the house, which is the center ring, and you're trying to get it in the hole, or you're also trying to hit the other people's pieces. I'm not going to go into too much detail about playing it. Like, you can look up a video and it'd be really easy explanation. And so that game, it looks like a lot of fun. The only negative is how expensive it is and how massive it is.
Yeah, it's a huge circle board that's made of wood.
Massive.
And like, yeah, you got to find a place to put that.
Yeah. But I know I'll get it, and it'll be a blast. It'll be something I can play with family members, like all my family. They're not into board games, but, you know, they like playing, like, either card games, or, like, pool.
Or, like, ping pong,
stuff like that. So, I mean, it'd be a great little game to play.
My dad would have a blast.
Oh, yeah, your dad would have a blast. I said little game, it's a massive game. So, I really do want Crocodile a lot. So, I'm hoping to get that at some point. I will get it at some point. It may be a little bit, though. And hopefully I don't just keep on pushing it back. So, that's Crocodile. Now, my number 1 game is Blood on the Clock Tower.
Yeah.
We really want Blood on the Clock Tower really bad. And we have ordered it, and so we're going to get it. But Blood on the Clock Tower is pretty much it's a massive social deduction game, like, I guess, like Werewolf, but there's more mechanics a part of it. So you're not just trying to deduce who seems the most sketchy, even though obviously that's still a big part of the game. You're also trying to deduce whose role is what, because unlike Werewolf, everybody has a role. Everybody has a special, unique ability to them that helps them gather information or change the game in some type of way. And so whenever you're doing this, it's set up in the day phase and night phase, like Werewolf, where during the day you are talking with people and trying to solve it. And then during the night phase, you have people using their abilities, or you have like the demon killing people. And so during the day phase, though, what's unique about this game is, like, you know, you're talking with people in a big group setting, but also you can actually pull people off to the side and talk to them, like, 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 or whatever it is. And so it adds to a lot of, like, fun little things that you can definitely get into.
Basically, you end up kind of forming alliances, and you're like,
I'm going to trust this person, and regardless, ride or die. I'm either going to ride this person, or this person's going to stab me in the back, and I'm going to die. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We are actively, like, getting a group of people, like, from our church, and so we are, I think, right there at the play, like, you know, I think it plays up to 20, and I think we have around 10 people right now, which I think is the sweet spot. And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get a game going. Me and Kate plan on going all out. We're going to buy, like, some candles, you know, set the mood romantically. And so, really, I can't wait for Blood on Clock Tower. So that's my list. Those are my 5 games that I want. Honorable mention, I have one. I really want Heat Pedal to the Metal. That game's out of print, but it's going to be back in print pretty soon. And I don't have much experience with racing games, so I want to see what that's like. I think the only racing game we own currently is Quest for El Dorado.
Yeah.
And so that's the honorable mention. That's another game I'm going to be getting whenever it hits back into retail. So those are all of our games, and I just want to say thanks, guys, for watching, and also, most importantly, we value all of you, and if we had the chance, we would love to play board games with every single one of you. Until next time, bye.
Bye.